Hi there, Victor Pross speaking to you, anarchist artist. Yeah, a thought just came to mind, and it's something that I wanted to share in this video blog, as is said, and that's in regards to small government advocates, minarchists, right, who basically can see the predations and ineffectiveness and the violence and the large-scale chipping away of liberty and freedom by governmental power. They can see that is a problem. It's not something that they would dispute with the volunteers, the anarchists. They can see this, but what they argue for is to to have the corruption corrected by either as they would say, you have to vote. You haven't got a right to complain unless you vote, so we have to get the right people in there. So they still accept the whole idea of government and of the state, and they may very well use the language of necessary evil, which anybody who's ever used that expression, it's so incredibly revealing how the language can give you away. In that you regard the government as evil, but you also tag on necessary, as if evil, which is counter to life, which is a force for destruction, despair, agony, failure, defeat, subjugation, slavery, death, that's evil, and to sit there and to say that that is necessary. Now you have this very interesting intellectual confusion. I really do, at some deep level, for the philosophically inclined minarchist or small government advocate. I mean, I truly do not envy their mental state and the Heraclitus flux that their fragments and segments and specks and splatters of their mind must be in to accept these contradictions, necessary evil, okay, and okay, I don't understand how they can't piece that together, that there isn't a problem there, an intellectual problem, a logical problem, and you would think that it might alert their attention and ask them that they would question their own premises, their major philosophical premises. You would think that they would be compelled to question, to call into question, to introspect, to look within themselves. That to do that, to be compelled to do that, is given the fact of the blood and collapsed economies and impoverishment and death that the government does, in fact, inflict, whatever type of government we're talking about, that it's a very destructive institution. We can see that. We can see that, like, very clearly today. You would think that we would call this into question and go, well, why is this going on? Why does this continue? We designate something as evil, but we call it necessary. What is up with that? Why can't we see the contradiction? Why don't we have the capability of seeing through the maze of this? I mean, would it have anything to do with the fact that that perhaps we just swallowed whole, unquestionably, in a stuporous way, the system that we're born into, and we just figure that it's so predominant, has always been there, and so many people believe in it that I guess it's just truth? I mean, is this how we arrive at we consider to be facts? Is scientific discoveries, for example, something that's submitted to a democracy or to a committee or to a ruling elite who fund scientific projects, but decide by committee what's going to be what's fact and what's a falsehood by committee vote, or is it there's a certain epistemological procedure that we go by where we discover facts? We have to ask these questions, because look at what's happening today. These are the type of questions that we have to ask. So I would submit to you that the root cause of all these problems is philosophical. It's philosophical. You cannot go to the political realm and have Ron Paul elected and think that only that is going to solve the problems. When we're trapped into these systems, politics is nothing more than a reflection than certain philosophical principles. The principles come first. The ethics comes first. Politics rests on a body of ideology, of ethics. Whatever those ethics might be. It could be the ethics of non-aggression and liberty, the Constitution, freedom of the individual, the Bill of Rights, that led to that type of government. It failed, obviously, but it led to that kind of government. That was the type of philosophical, ethical principles that the American Revolution was based on versus, let's say, Nazism or communism. It was built on an entirely different ideology. So we have to go to the ideologies first. That's where we have to begin. And we have to ask the type of questions is that what is obviously destructive in the existential realm, in the political realm, in the social realm, in the empirical realm that is the modern state today. We have to go to the philosophy upon which it rests, and we have to start asking challenging questions in terms of ethics. Are we going to embrace the non-aggression principle, or are we going to embrace the ethics of statism, which is force and coercion? That's where we have to go. Victor Pross, anarchist artist, signing out. Pop goes the culture.